Hello everyone. We will deliver the news that became a hot topic on July 9, 2023. Manager pushed out of the way while trying to stop two suspects stealing from Gwinnett Bass Pro Shop. WSB Cox articles. Two men are on the run after officials say they stole high-valued merchandise from a local sporting goods store. Below are your comments. If we don't stop these people from stealing, this will keep going on until someone gets hurt badly. Employees should be allowed to take down these thieves without prosecution to them. Change the laws. The stores need to set up a capture zone that the manager can activate. A capture zone is just two sets of doors far enough from each other that when the thieves leave, they get caught between the sets of doors and held there until local law enforcement can come to the site. These people need to. I'm 49. I remember store owners having a shotgun full of buckshot just for such activities. They either used it or the sight of it sent the thieves on their way. Now you get prosecuted for protecting your own goods. Pretty stupid to do that when their faces are so clearly shown. And since the one guy resisted by pushing the manager away using physical force, he won't be facing just a shoplifting charge. It will be upgraded to robbery. They will be caught soon enough with the car and tag also in the description. Legislation is needed in larger cities giving full immunity for retailers and their store guards who tase suspected thieves who are reasonably believed to be stealing and are leaving the premises and are uncooperative and unwilling to stop and be detained. Things would improve in a hurry. Next news. An Afghan man who spent years helping U.S. forces in Afghanistan is shot and bleep in Washington. Associated Press. At 31 years old, Nasrat Ahmad Yar had spent most of his adult life working with the U.S. military in Afghanistan before escaping to America in search of a better life for his wife and 4 children. Last Monday night, worried about making rent, he went out driving and was shot and bleep in Washington. Below are your comments. I spent 25 years working in D.C. Luckily I lived and worked in Northwest D.C., which for the most part is a nice safe area. There are however parts of D.C. that can only be described as worse, that the Wild West people in those neighborhoods have no respect for property or other people's lives. I'm glad I know Lo. May that brave man rest in peace. Very few have that type of bravery and love for others. Amen. This story hurts a lot. An immigrant who more than served the USA and was a hard worker. Bleep for nothing. Now, his family is left without a husband and father. So heartbreaking. Rip Ahmad. Sounds like he was a good human being. Rest in peace. Prayers and condolences to his family. The United States is far more dangerous than Afghanistan these days. Sad but true. Rest in peace, sir, and thank you for your service to this country. Next news. Scientists are sounding the alarm about a dangerous problem that will soon affect 2 billion people. Here's what to know. The cool down. About 60 million people are already affected. Below are your comments. In 1948, when we moved to Texas, it was 104 and we had no air conditioning in cars and only water coolers in our homes, if we were lucky enough to afford them. That winter we had a foot of snow and icicles hanging from the trees. That was over 70 years ago. We rode our bikes and played outside. Don't forget that the Earth's axis has changed from 23 degrees to 22.69 in the last 50 years, and in the last 20 years there have been many more sunspots which result in solar flares that heat us up. Plus El Niño in the Pacific. Our climate on Earth has many variables, not just so-called carbon emissions. It was predicted to rain today. It's sunny out. They never predict the weather right. But somehow they predict the weather years from now. That's a profound reshaping of the habitability of the surface of the planet, and could lead potentially to the large-scale reorganization of where people live. Exactly. And the Earth will change regardless of humans or not. It has all on its own for billions of years. Next news. They lied about Afghanistan. They lied about Iraq. Now they're lying about Ukraine. Salon. Russia's invasion was a war crime. That's no excuse for the disastrous, destructive path of endless war. Below are your comments. If this were about perpetual war, why didn't we do this after Russia took Crimea? We showed restraint and Russia showed they punish restraint with expansionism. Anyone who wouldn't change strategy after learning such a lesson is not qualified to govern or offer governing advice. I respect Hedges and have listened to his interviews and read his articles. Yet I couldn't disagree more with this one. Like World War II, the lines between good and bad, right and wrong couldn't be clearer. There is no justification for the invasion, torture, mass graves, bombing of civilians. Need I go? This article is all over the place. The conclusion that our involvement in wars past was the fault of the defense industry solely ignores the conduct of our adversaries in those conflicts. All the wars before Ukraine that he listed were civil wars. It should be pretty obvious to everyone by now that intervention in a civil war is very unlikely to succeed. While Russia would like to pretend that their invasion is part of a civil war, it is not. Ukraine is not Russia. Ukrainians. So Russia should go unchecked invading European countries at will? I agree the US has a history of involvement in unnecessary wars, especially those involving foreign cultures that are unwinnable. But Ukraine is different. It is a democratic nation and protecting that is in our best interest. Next news. DNA testing leads to former U.S. Army soldier in 1978 bleep of woman in Germany. Associated Press. DNA testing has led to the arrest of a Nebraska man who was repeatedly questioned over decades in the 1978 stabbing death of a woman while he was stationed with the U.S. Army in Germany. Authorities said Tommy Molina, 69, was arrested in the western Nebraska city of Gearing on June 21. The U.S. Marshals Service in Omaha said in a statement Thursday. German prosecutors in the Bavarian city of Schweinfurt believe Molina, 24 at the time, was having an extramarital affair with 18-year-old Cornelia Humpfer when she was bleep April 20, 1978. Below are your comments. It is sad when this type of thing happens. Spent about 16 years overseas in the U.S. Army and there have been similar incidents in countries I was stationed in with U.S. soldiers. It puts us in a bad light with the civilian population. And it takes a long time to restore trust again. This guy had to be thinking every day that he would be caught when DNA testing came out. I guess in the court of public opinion he is already guilty. He most likely is. But still, if he is proven guilty, then what they do with him is pretty much in Germany's hands. If guilty, I too want his military benefits stopped. I spent 4 tours in Germany in my 20-year career. Saw plenty of cheating. Upload your DNA to a database. Review their imaginary privacy policy. What could be more fun and inconsequential? Now only $59.99. Makes a great gift for dads and grads. Next news. A first-class passenger told crew he would detonate a bomb unless the plane was diverted, later claiming that he thought cartel enforcers were waiting for him. Authorities say. Business Insider. The note handed to an Alaska Airlines flight attendant said, "If this plane lands in Seattle, I will bleep everyone on board," an FBI affidavit said. Below are your comments. If true, this was a really bad decision, with many other possible solutions based on his specific circumstances. It would have been better for him to arrive in Seattle, stay in the secure arrival area, and ask the pilot to arrange for law enforcement security assistance on his arrival. I think he will be found guilty. And when he is, he will go to prison where the cartel, if his story is true, will be able to get to him a little easier. He didn't think that one through. He should be banned from using all public modes of transportation for the rest of his life. Walking and biking are good for you. Several pounds of homemade explosives are in my carry-on bag. I have a detonator with me. How would he get that through security? It would be interesting to hear what he says at his arraignment. I'd also like to know if his carry-on bag or his detonator had the Acme label on the side. Next news. Nurse fired for secret affair with patient who died during sex in hospital parking lot. Fox News. Penelope Williams, a nurse in the UK, was fired from her job at a hospital after she had sex with a patient in the parking lot and he died of a heart attack. Below are your comments. From a medical standpoint, I'm pretty stunned that this guy felt well enough to carry on a multiple times sexual affair. Dialysis and kidney failure, not to mention heart failure on top of it, are all really rough on a person, and the people I have known feel really weak and worn out almost all of the. She was obeying her oath to do the best for patients. What a good way to go. Hey, he came and went at the same time. Dang. My doctor's office doesn't even validate parking. This nurse is a hero. Next news. A Vermont police officer, aged 19, died in a crash with a burglary suspect she was chasing. Associated Press. A Vermont police officer was bleep and 2 other officers were injured when a burglary suspect crashed into 2 police cruisers pursuing him. Vermont State Police said. Rutland City Police Officer Jessica Ebighausen, 19, was bleep on Friday afternoon. The crash happened as police chased a vehicle driven by Tate Riom, 20, a suspect in an attempted break-in at a house. State Police said. Below are your comments. I am so confused. How could she be a police officer when she wasn't old enough to legally own a handgun? And was she driving the patrol car or a passenger with another officer driving? And if she was driving by herself, how does the department justify that? So many questions about this. I always thought 21 was the minimum age for law enforcement. Even if they're in a reserve capacity. I don't know about a dispatcher. I'm so sorry for the loss of life. I hope they change their practices for age requirements. 19 is far too young to be without a mentor at all times until they reach 21. It speaks to the state of law enforcement in our country. Why would they have a 19-year-old chasing down a suspect by vehicle? Poor baby didn't have the bleep or experiences needed for this. My condolences to her family. I hope that the suspect gets what he deserves. I don't see how a 19-year-old can be an officer. There are many laws that limit the abilities of people under the age of 21. So, you can be a cop at 19 but cannot purchase a handgun. But the state will give you a handgun and allow you to enforce laws. Makes zero sense. At 19 you cannot even drive a say. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.